Welcome to Tapped In with Tony. My next guests feature not one, but two of the Bekelja sisters, Dee and Jordan, both former college basketball players. Thank you both for joining me today.
Of course.
Thank you for having us.
Not a problem. You guys have a family that's played college ball, high school ball. You guys have done it all. Start off with the beginning. Where are you from for those who are just tuning in for the first time?
We're originally from Pennsylvania.
Well, yeah.
We lived in PA for a while, until about
Middle of my 8th grade year.
yeah. And we were actually commuting to Ohio basically every day for basketball. So that obviously with 4 kids and different basketball schedules and tournament schedules, that got to be a little difficult to, be crossing state lines every day for, our mom and our dad. So we decided to move to Ohio where we would have better schooling and basketball opportunities. So we all ended up in Solon, Ohio, and we had a great career there, great life there, and it was very, very fun, and it ended up working out for us very well. So
Awesome. And Jordan, I'm going to first start with you. You are the oldest of the 4
Yes, I
in
am.
the Bekelja clan. How was that like eventually getting to play against your family? Did you guys ever play any pickup games as you guys grew up? Like any family?
Yeah. So me and Dee pretty early got banned from playing one-on-one together. It kind of just turned into a bloodbath. So we decided to do 2-on-2 instead of be boys against girls. And then once the boys got too big for us, we kind of split it up.
Yeah.
So I would play with Sin and Dee would play with Mike.
Yeah. We did do 2-on-2. We spent a lot of time like playing summer ball outside, doing 2-on-2 boys against girls. But yeah, like she said, the boys just outgrew us at some point, and we weren't able to continue our win streak with the girls against the boys.
Both of you played for the Solon girls basketball program and had a lot of impressive accolades. Jordan, how was it like throughout your 4 years? And you had Dee, you played with Dee for a couple of years. How was that like playing basketball?
It was really fun. I really, really look back and enjoy my time being able to play with her, especially because we didn't get to play with each other after that. And she spent so much time in Chicago since then that we really haven't had to been able to play together, work out together a lot. So when I look back on those couple years that we got to spend together, it was really great.
And Dee, you took the torch and you also had a great career. I believe you were Gatorade Women's Girls Basketball Player of the Year.
Yes. Yeah, it was definitely a special time to be playing with my sister, and then also going through high school and having our younger brothers in high school as well. It was something really, really cool to have both your sisters be playing basketball and both your brothers playing basketball. So it was really a family affair, and I know it kept our parents busy, but it was definitely fun. And she taught me, the role getting into high school basketball, and she really helped me grow as the player that I was. So I would always be thankful for the time that we had at Solon.
Yeah, and you ladies also got to play with Mariah Modkins, who just finished up at Kent State, Alexis Stover, Kristen Confoy. Jordan, I believe you played with her.
Yeah.
You guys also played with probably a few additional girls who I probably forgot.
Yeah. A few additional for sure. Like, who else? We played with Martha Thompson. There's a couple other people that I'm probably forgetting. Like Gabby Mitchell. Yeah. She played. Who else? I don't know. There's a bunch of people, but we were in great company, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And how was it like going throughout the entire Solon program? You ladies made deep runs in the tournament. And how was that? And the boys also did as well. They also made it.
Yeah. Senior year. It was. I think it's one of our biggest regrets and sore spots in our hearts that we never won a state championship. But we get over it at some point in our life. That was definitely very sad and hard for us to deal with. But it was so much fun going deep into the tourney and having the school come out and support. It was definitely a really fun experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And ironically, it was one of the first games that I covered when I was a freelancer at Cleveland.com was a Solon girls game.
Awesome.
I was on that team. Dee, I believe you were on that team.
Yep. I think
How-
Valencia.
Oh yeah, Valencia.
Who else? Like Catherine Ditto, Kyra Lance, all of them. Yeah, it was fun for sure.
You guys were stacked.
Yeah, that's why we get so upset that we didn't get farther because,
Yep.
we in theory.
The state, what does that say about the state of Northeast Ohio hoops on not just the ladies' side, but also the guys' side as well? Because Mike also did very well at Solon.
I've seen so many great college basketball players come out of Ohio. I think Ohio is probably one of the top basketball states in the nation. I just always hear about great players in Ohio, and I know from being in the college basketball, a lot of recruits are coming from Ohio. So it's really cool to be in, with the top people from that state. So it's really fun.
And talk about how each of you navigated the college recruiting journey. And Jordan, I know you committed to Clarion. Did you have any offers or any other interest from any other schools?
Honestly, I don't even remember anymore. It's been so long. But it was fun, and I know that since I was the first one going through it, there's a couple things that my parents had to figure out. But by the time Dee and Mike and Sin all came up to that age, it was kind of smooth sailing for them, and they knew how to do all of those things. So I was kind of the guinea pig of it all.
Wow. And what about you, Dee? You played ball at DePaul, and you got a few offers probably.
Yeah, definitely Jordan was, she went through the learning curve with the recruiting process. The recruiting process is pretty crazy, pretty scary, overwhelming at times. But, she was having talks with me, like, you need to sit down, write your list. My dad was like practically my manager. He took all the calls, he did all the emails, he got all the mail, like he was the one writing everything out, planning the trips. I could not have done it without his help because he was really the one who facilitated the whole thing. Because at the time, I didn't know what I wanted. I was just playing to play. So it was really cool to have people looking after me and kind of figuring out for me. So then by the time I was in college, I was like, oh, okay, I'm glad they did that for me. But it was definitely a very cool but crazy time period to be in the recruiting portal.
I imagine. And also, Jordan, you played ball at Clarion. I believe you scored 1,000 career points.
Yep.
Clarion's on the Division III level, correct?
2, yeah.
Division
We're
2.
in the stack, yeah.
How would you say your time went at Clarion, and what would you say were your favorite moments from your time there?
It was definitely fun. I really enjoyed continuing my career. The PSAC was definitely a really tough conference, so it was cool to see how that kind of got extended into high school. Honestly, my favorite moments were just being with my teammates. I had some really great teammates that I'm still friends with and in touch with today. So building kind of that support outside of Solon and being able to find those friends and make those lasting connections has been definitely my most favorite memories, alongside scoring 1,000 points. So
What game did you score that 1,000th point?
Oh, I don't know. It was probably halfway through my senior year, but I can't remember.
Gotcha. No worries. And then after that, you became an assistant coach at Malone. How was it being an assistant coach for a little while?
It was interesting. I don't know if I'm into the coaching side of things. I definitely enjoyed being able to experience what the coaches go through, because I know that it's hard to see that as a player sometimes. So doing that on the coaches side definitely brought a different perspective for sure.
Gotcha. And Dee, you played for DePaul University. DePaul's a pretty well-known women's team on the Division I side. How was it like? You guys start off. We're going to talk about your first few years. How was that like getting to play in a big conference?
Yeah. It was definitely a transition from high school. I think for most freshman collegiate ball players, they don't realize it until you're in it, how much of an adjustment it is, mentally and physically. So, you know, I definitely freshman year is a bit tough for anybody, especially as a student athlete. So those years, you know, are a grind, but, you know, it gets better as you progress. And I was there for 5 years. So, you know, by the time I was in my 5th year, it was pretty smooth sailing and really fun. But yeah, playing in the Big East was obviously an unbelievable conference, and we had some really, really great players come out of there. And it was just so fun to be competing against these high level players every day and every time. And the players on my team pushed me, and the players on the other side of the ball like pushed me. And I think everybody who went through that program has really good things to say about it, because our coaches are kind of legendary. Like Coach Bruno knows what he's talking about, and you definitely learn a lot when he's your coach. And overall, he's just a great guy, and I love him so much. But yeah, I think my first like 3 years we won like back to back Big East tournament championships, and that was really, really fun. That was really cool, and that was a big celebration. You have your family there and confetti and stuff. So those were the good times, and definitely like going to the NCAA tournaments and stuff were super fun for me.
Speaking of the tournament, you guys won the Big East tournament 2020, and then a day later, COVID-19 hit, shut everything down. How was that? You go from one moment you're on top of the world, punched your ticket to the dance, and then a few days later, NCAA tournament is canceled.
Yeah, that was obviously super devastating, especially for our seniors, because at the time we had 2 really great seniors, Kelly Campbell and Shantae Stonewall, and they had great careers at DePaul. And so we had such an unbelievable season. I think it was one of our better seasons, and we made like a great run in the Big East tournament. We had a great game, great championship game, and we were really on top of the world. And we were supposed to be, I think at the time we were going to be like a top 4 seed in the tournament. So we were going to end up hosting the first couple rounds of the NCAA tournament. So we were super, super excited about that. And we thought we were really going to have a shot to make a deep run. So having that taken away at the very last second was kind of really heartbreaking and disappointing. But, you know, for the people that came back the next year, I think it really added fuel to the fire. And it was fun to be back on the court, because we had that time where we weren't able to be on the court. So definitely sad, but it was sad for everybody, you know. So.
Gotcha. Because I know with COVID, when COVID hit, and that just changed everything. Even the men's tournament got shut down, college baseball. It was like the world just stopped dead.
It was crazy, because you would just be on Twitter or online, and you're like, oh, that program shut down, that tournament's canceled, that everything. And you're like, oh my gosh, no, they're gonna get to the Big East. Yeah, so it was super, super unfortunate.
And Dee, you continued your career even through that. How was it like to play ball like in the following year? I believe DePaul was one of many schools that didn't have fans at the games.
Yes.
How was that like?
Yeah, it was definitely weird. I think we were just grateful that we were able to at least be playing again. We could have been at home isolated, so it was definitely a better option. But it was tough. We wore masks during practice the whole time, so we were playing with masks on. That was obviously extremely hard and uncomfortable. We played our first few games with masks on. We got COVID tested every other day. We did isolation. We were in isolated rooms. We weren't allowed to like do team building. We weren't allowed to like hang out other than practice and games. No fans at our games. Like senior night, only our parents could come, but they had to sit far out in the stands. So it was a whole thing, and it was definitely trying times, but you know, I think we made the best of it, and we did the most that we could do out of the situation.
Gotcha. And Jordan, were you there in Malone just for a year, or did you coach the year after? Because I know
just for a year. So it was the year right before COVID.
Wow. And Dee, you came back for your 5th year, and I know you've probably heard this question a lot. Did you ever think of, after your 5th year, possibly looking at playing pro ball internationally or here in the States?
You know, it always crosses your mind when you're a senior entering your last year as a basketball player. But For me, I know I have I have a couple years left of school to get to my career goal. So I'm pretty dedicated in my schoolwork right now. So I didn't want to have to mess that up and try to do some more ball. And at the same time, I've been playing basketball for about 20 years now. So I'm getting a little burnt out. Body's hurting a little bit. So I did not think it was going to be the best for me. It definitely would have been fun. One of my best friends from DePaul, she's playing overseas and having a phenomenal career out there right now. She's in Australia. She just came back from Sweden. So it's super fun for her, but she's the type of person to do it, not me. I'm living vicariously through her.
Gotcha. Yes, I know it's that push-pull, especially for athletes that I've interviewed.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, I had a baseball player, a few up on the 4th episode. He talked about going, let me go that one more year. Should I continue this? Or
Right.
it's like you gotta know when you go and continue and when it's time to move on.
Right.
Yeah.
And what are you studying in DePaul?
Yeah. So my fifth when I took my 5th year at DePaul, I actually got my master's in psychology, and then now I'm going back to school to be a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. So that's going to be a 3-year program. So I'm excited to start that. By the time I'm done with school, I'll be, getting up there in my age. So, but I'm super excited for that. Yeah.
And Jordan, what do you do since you're no longer playing and you're no longer an assistant coach? What do you do?
So I am actually a mental health therapist, and right now I actually work in Solon, down the street from our parents, and I run group therapy for teenagers.
Oh, that's great, especially with the way mental health is these days,
Mhm.
and especially with the stresses, like you said, about navigating the college.
Yeah.
How do you think that is, especially in this day and age when even outside the season, you've got your AAU ball, you're trying to get noticed by some program, whether it's D1, D2, D3,
Yeah.
JUCO, just anyone.
Right.
How do you think, what's the best way for players to navigate that? Like when you're young and then to your senior year, where it's your senior year and you've gotten no team has reached out to you.
Honestly, it's really hard. I would say trying to play without feeling the pressure of it all. I think what really hurts players is feeling that pressure of trying to find something, especially when you're young. You really don't need to be trying to play for college scholarships. Like if you're in 6th grade, you're not going to do anything with a college scholarship at that point. So trying to play for fun and figure out what you enjoy with it rather than feeling like you have to go out there and get a scholarship right away.
And what about you, Dee?
Yeah, I would just say trying to keep the stress low, because I've definitely, especially like AAU is like crazy. Like AAU is like absolutely crazy. It's the funnest time ever. But just thinking, like, I always think back to AAU. I'm like, we were really playing like 5 games a day, up at 6 in the morning with all these coaches watching us. Like, how stressful is that for somebody who's a teenager? So just trying to like clear your mind, because I've had my best games when I was just, you're just free. You're not thinking about this coach is here, this coach is there. So if you really start to think about the stress and what if you have to do something, then it's not going to end up to be a good game, because you're just going to be thinking about what you can do better, and instead of just playing for fun. So having fun will probably be the biggest thing that will make you be attracted for these coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're playing so many AAU games, there's that risk of an injury. Like, let's say you've gotten offers from somewhere. All it takes is one injury.
Right.
Boom, everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
And as former women's basketball players, what do you say is what are your thoughts on the game as it is now, especially this past season with you've got a lot of stars that are in the college game. You got Angel Reese, Haley Van Lith, Caitlin Clark. You had the Kibender twins. What does that say about the rise of women's college basketball as compared to probably when you guys were around?
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun to see, and I think there's a lot more opportunities for women's sports to be kind of put through social media or online. So it's given everyone an opportunity to see what has been happening. These aren't the first times that there has been superstars in women's sports, but I think there's a lot more attention on it right now and a lot more opportunities to put attention on it. And a lot of them are able to do it themselves, which I think is new, because before, you weren't able to just post yourself on social media and have all of these views and things come from it. So now, whether it's someone else doing it or themselves doing it, I think it's a really great opportunity, and it's bringing a lot more eyes to what's behind women's sports.
And that's especially with the NCAA tournament. Miami made a run to the Elite Eight. They did the same in men's basketball. You had Angel Reese doing the "You Can't See Me" at the end of the national championship game. It's great to see the rise of the women's game.
Yeah.
Now with more interest and more eyes on it, I hope it continues to grow. And switching gears, you have brothers who also played college ball. I believe Sincere and Mike also played for Duquesne. And how is that? Like, how's that when you guys have games and then you guys go and you go and support Mike and Sin when they're playing?
It's really fun. I'm sad that they all are kind of graduating out now. We just have Mike. Hopefully, Sin
will be
extending his career,
playing some pro ball. That would be the goal.
Yeah.
But I know it was definitely crazy for our family and our parents. Like, my mom would just make an Excel sheet of all of our games, color coded, where and when and what time, because it was hard to keep track of, especially when all four of us were in it. It was a bit crazy, but and I was sad a lot of times because I was all the way out here in Chicago and everybody else is in, close by. So my sister and my parents were able to see a lot more games of my brothers. But now that I am coming back to Ohio this summer, I'm excited to be able to watch Mike play this season. So
great. And how exciting is that for Sincere to potentially be drafted, and you've got Mike who's still playing ball at Kent State? How exciting does that have to be?
It's really exciting. We are just kind of waiting to see what happens. No really word on anything yet, but I know that he's been going to a lot of workouts. It seems stressful to me, but I think it's fun for him.
Yeah, I think he's having fun. He's definitely probably a little tired because he's been bouncing back to all of these cities overnight just for workouts and stuff. So, but it's been really cool for him. I think it's a great experience and opportunity no matter what happens, and we're super proud of him. And we like to think that we have a small role in helping him get here by beating him in 2-on-2. And
well, when you got siblings that all play basketball, surely somebody's going to be learning. Somebody's going to be learning.
Right.
No, Sin has always been better than us.
Yeah.
And a couple final questions. What were some of you guys' what was like one song from Dee, one song from Jordan? What's the song that got you? If you had to pick a song that you would have on a basketball mixtape, what would it be?
Oh gosh. I think we would say oh God, back in high school, I would say Finito.
What was the other one we listened to?
I don't know. Let's see. Anything by Waka Flocka Flame. Finito by Keith would be my pick.
Oh God. I don't know if I even have one to add to this. I know we listened to another one in high school, and I think I have it on something.
Our high school locker rooms before games were some of my best memories in my whole basketball career, because we would really get after it and really have fun.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, is have fun. Sports are fun.
Sports are fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one more question. I'm blanking on this. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on this.
That's okay.
Oh man, I lost my train of thought. Oh, what was each of you guys, if you had to pick one memory, both of you, one were your favorite memories from college hoops, whether it be a game or just not a game, what was your favorite memory of all time? You had to pick one.
I would say this isn't even like pertaining to basketball, but I think my senior year, my 5th year senior year, we went to the Virgin Islands for our Thanksgiving tournament. And we played some really good teams. We played Arizona, but it was really fun basketball-wise. But we just had so much fun on the island, and we did like really fun things. And I think it was like the funniest time that we've ever had as a team together. So I would always remember that, and I know my teammates will always remember that. It was just so special and fun, and I always remember that.
Not very often you get to play on the Virgin Islands because a lot of those island tournaments, they're slept on, especially Bahamas is really cool when you've got the basketball court in a hotel.
Yeah.
Mexico's the same way too.
Yeah. Super
And
fun.
what about you?
I think honestly, like my freshman year, like preseason, I know preseason for some people can be like grueling, but for me, like that was the fun, like the most fun that I've had with my teammates, and being able to come in as a freshman and like meet everyone, and kind of, we were starting the program over at that point with a new team and a new coach. So it was kind of like building it into what we wanted to be. So that for me was really fun.
Great. And thank you both for coming on the show. If you guys have, floor is yours. If you have anything, any last words you want to share at all, or any advice?
Just enjoy your sport and don't think too hard about it. It'll all work out. As long as you're having fun, that's how you win.
Absolutely.
Of course, winning is good too.
Yes. And thank y'all for coming on. Tapped In with Tony is available on YouTube and Spotify. So make sure you rate, subscribe to the pod, and give it a follow.